Welcome to Tech Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about ArcGIS in your classroom, how to incorporate mapping activities with a free platform and ready-made lesson plans. So we're going to look at all the resources that you have available. Let me quick share my screen. And we're off. All the resources for today's session are located at this link, bit.ly/2016 ArcGIS. And we're going to roll through what ArcGIS is and how you can use it in your classroom, some of the tools that are available today. ArcGIS is an online collaborative web GIS resource that allows you to use, create, and share maps, scenes, layers, analytics, and data. You, as a K-12 school, you have access to a free organizational account that you can sign up for that allows you a great deal of power over and above the free accounts. What's great about ArcGIS is you can actually use a lot of the features without having an account at all and do a lot of interacting with the maps. You can also get a free public account and you have the K-12 organizational account. And so with those options, you have the ability to utilize the resources we're going to look at today, either just without logging in or actually going on and signing up for your K-12 account. So let's go ahead and look at what ArcGIS is, and then we will talk a little bit about the different kinds of accounts. And finally, we'll look at how you can sign up for the free ArcGIS online account. Do remember that all the links we talk about today are linked on your resources page, the bit.ly/2016 ArcGIS. So here's what it looks like. One of the great things you get with ArcGIS is access to all these different kinds of maps. And so you have imagery maps, a wealth of base maps, and you can change these on any of the maps you're looking at. You can change the base map. Demographic and lifestyle, boundaries, landscape, oceans, earth observations, communities, transportation maps, urban systems, and then finally some really awesome historical maps. And so you can really tie in a lot of different kinds of information by using the maps that are already available. In addition, ArcGIS, when you sign up for your K-12 organizational account, you have the ability to perform analysis. So you can summarize data. So you can get some counts. You can also go through and find locations. And so this is great for site selection if you want to try to figure out where to locate a new business or locate some information. You can do a great deal of data enrichment. And so if you wanted to find out more information about an area, you can enrich the layer. You can analyze patterns. This is one of my favorite ways because you can use this, you can calculate density. So you can figure out how many of something are in a county. You can look at historical information like the example they give here, identifying areas that are at high risk of forest fires based on historical locations of forest fires. You can find hotspots. You can interpolate points. You can use proximity. Creating buffers allows you to, typically when I've used buffers is I've created a buffer and then I've used it as a further analysis point for another analysis. But you can also do some drive time areas, and so you can figure out what resources are in a 30-minute drive or where you would want to build something based on the drive time. You can also use a find nearest. You can use it to plan routes or to connect origins to destinations. Finally, you can also do some data management for combining prior to analysis. And so you can create a new layer that combines a couple of different areas, and you can merge layers and overlay layers so that you can do some more higher level analysis. So when you have an ArcGIS or online org account, you have access to all this analysis functionality. So that's really a powerful tool at your fingertips. Some of the other really cool things that ArcGIS provides are the story maps. And the story maps allow you to pull together not only maps, but you also can bring in videos, you can bring in text, you can bring in pictures, and so you can tell a story using a story map. So let's look at this restoring a natural habitat. And so when we're looking at this, we have our information about the project. Notice that there's links in here. We have a little background. We have images that we could actually go through and click on. Here's a map from inside ArcGIS. And if we clicked on the map, we could interact with it even more. And so now that I've clicked on it, I can move it around. If there was information points on the map that I could click on, I would be able to click on them. So as we scroll through, we can see more information about the project. And like this project has a lot of plant identification, and so they've linked out to additional websites. And so you could get a lot of information from this map. If you notice here at the top right-hand corner of the screen, these are all the sections of this story map. And so we can go through and look at the project, the volunteers, intervention, schedule, and if we wanted to help. So really kind of a cool project that you have access to with the story maps. So I have too many tabs open and I can't get to one of my tabs. Good times. All right, one of the other features that's available for K-12 schools and to encourage more people to utilize GIS in the schools are the geo inquiries. And these are short standards-based inquiry activities that are designed to be done essentially from one computer. And what's great about them is you can present these with one computer to a class and just go through it and have the discussion and interaction from one computer. You can also have everybody go in and work through the geo inquiry. If you're in an organizational situation and everybody has their own accounts, they can save the maps and they can make their own changes to them. And so you have a lot of options with the geo inquiries. These are designed to be about 15-minute interactions, and so they're really short. And my favorite part is they give you all the steps that you need to go through and do all these great interactions. And I tend to learn quite a bit because it's like, oh, look at this cool map, or I didn't know that this was available. And so it's always fun to go through these because I learn more about what's available in ArcGIS. There's different collections. They're adding more all the time, but we currently have Earth Science, U.S. History, Advanced Human Geography, 4th grade Interdisciplinary Elementary, and Advanced Environmental Science. And so when you go through and look at this, so then the next thing we need to look at is, so if I clicked on the U.S. History one, and it's going to bring up a number of all of the different topic areas that are available. And so we can go in and I'm going to select the Dust Bowl here. So here's the Dust Bowl, and this is what it looks like when you open it up. It has some information, but the big deal is to click on the open button here. And here we have a 2-page PDF that actually describes exactly what we're looking at. And there's a link right here that takes you to the map, and the map looks like this. And so when you're actually going through this, you'll notice it tells you what the activity is. It gives you the standards, the C3 framework standards that tie to this map. And the South Dakota Social Studies standards have incorporated the C3 framework standards, and so they will work well with the South Dakota Social Studies standards. And then you have your learning outcomes. So we go through, and the very first thing they ask, where was the population in 1930? And so it gives a little bit of background about what the map that we first opened, what it displays. And then it asks us, where were the largest numbers of people living in the Plain States in 1930? And then notice there's an answer there too. And so this may be something that you wouldn't want the kids to have. This would just be a teacher guide for you. So when we're looking at the map, we can go through and see, and I look over here and I see that there's a legend for this layer. And as I'm looking, I notice that the darker green is the higher population, and I can actually see that it looks like just from a glance, the population concentrations are in Southern California, and then on the eastern sides of the Plain States. So now I can go back to my inquiry, and now we're going to see, what were the attitudes of the day regarding farming. So we have some background that, the USDA Bureau of Soils published that the soil is one resource that cannot be exhausted, it cannot be used up. So it tells us exactly what we need to do. We need to turn off the population 1930 layer, turn on the percent of counties and farms in 1930, and then we need to answer the question, where were the counties with the highest percentage of land in farming? So we go back to our map, and it's like, oh my gosh, how do I turn on and off layers? So over on the left-hand side of the page, we have the information about the map, the little I, and then there's the content. So if I click on content, that's going to show me all the different layers that I have access to. And you can see that right now, I am looking at I've got the USA state boundaries and the population for 1930. So I'm going to turn off the population 1930, and I'm going to turn on the percent of counties and farms in 1930. So that totally changes my map and what I've got going on. But I don't know what any of those colors mean. If I were to click on the percent of counties and farms 1930 layer, it's going to give me some options here. I have the ability to show the legend, which will be beneficial because now I can see, red means that over 85% of the counties are in farms in 1930. I can click on the next tab over, and that's going to show me the data table. And so if I wanted to see the data associated with this layer, it'll bring it up below the map. And I do have the option to, I can show show selected records, I can show hide columns, etc. And then I have the ability to change the style. And so if I wanted to change colors or change how the map looks, I have that option. And then I can also filter. And so if I wanted to filter out the counties that were of the highest population to just show those, I could do that. And then the three little dots give me the ability to, I can zoom to an area, or I can set the transparency of the map. So just by looking at this, I see that the highest concentration of farms is on the eastern sides of the states, and eastern and then central parts of the states. So, okay, so let's go back and take a look at our next step. So then it has us go through, and we want to look at the contributing factors. So we're going to turn off the percent of counties and farms, and we're going to turn on the precipitation. And then this one, it says click on the rain cloud symbol until it is highlighted blue, and then click on the graph to enlarge it. And so, they must have something special there. So I'm going to turn this layer off, and I'm going to turn on the precipitation graphs, I believe is what they told me to do. Yep. All right, so Kansas. I'm going to click on, there we go. And so they have added data in the form of a map note here. and it's got some information, and then it also has this great graph. And so I can actually go in and say, looking at the graph, and with this line across here being the average precipitation, holy cow, you know, in the 30s, Kansas had only 1 year where it was above average precipitation, and the rest it was significantly below average precipitation. And so knowing that information, I can interpolate that it was dry in Kansas during this time period. So you can actually go through, and then it has us go through and talk about, we look at the growth in number of farms between 1930 and 1940. We can click on a county in the dust area. I mean, so you can go through and you can figure out quite a bit of information here. It also gives us some information on how to zoom. So I'm going to go back and turn on this percent of counties and farms in 1930. So if I wanted to zoom on here, I have the plus and minus zoom over on the in the upper left-hand corner of the map. If I click on the little house, it takes me back to the original set. If I hit, I can drag the map around by just pressing my mouse and clicking. If I hit Control or Shift and click, I can actually draw a rectangle, and it'll zoom into my rectangle. And then you can also use, if you have a scroll bar on your mouse, you can use that to zoom back and forth. You also have the ability to do some measuring if you'd like. And so I can measure, I can find area, length, or location. And so if I wanted to find the area of a county, I could do that. I could find the distance between things. And so I could do some measuring if I wanted to. And then notice in the upper, and we're not signed into anything with ArcGIS right now, and we're just hanging out. I can go and modify the map, and I can do that without being logged in. If I click on Modify Map, notice that it now adds the Add option. And so I could even add layers to this map. I could add map nodes to this map. And so I have some options there. At this point, I would like to probably save the map. And if I wanted to do that, I would need to click on Save, and then it would ask me to log in. So you have, like I said, some options there. But so that is just one of the geo inquiries, and there are a number in those different content areas. And so, like I said, these are designed to be done in about 15 minutes, and we didn't really run through the entire activity or do much discussion on it. So we talked earlier about the different kinds of accounts. So everything we've done today, we've done without being signed into ArcGIS. And this resource is one of my favorites because it talks about how you can use ArcGIS with the different kinds of accounts. And so you have the no account, and you can access the information, and you also, it's free. And you can access from anywhere. You can access from a computer, a tablet, a smartphone, so you have lots of options. There's a free public account, and you can do that easily. You can set that up. When you click on sign in and you don't have a GIS account, you say create a public account, and you just sign up. However, you do need to, minors need a parent to set up an account, and you don't have the analysis capabilities when you are using a public account. Some educators use a public but sharing login, and what they do is they create an account, and then, and these are permitted for teaching by .edu and institutions. So it's a single login password that the whole class would use. You could create, there's a great deal of, you can create folders, and so you would probably create a folder for each child, and they would be able to go in and work on their content. Obviously, anybody could, log in and delete somebody else's content, but it would be that you would not have to create individual accounts for each child. What the power of ArcGIS Online is when you can get an organizational account, and as a K-12, you have the ability to get a free ArcGIS Online organizational account because as part of the Connect Ed movement that Esri is participating in. And so as an organization, you would be able to create accounts for your students. You would be able to control the extent of sharing. As the admin, you would have a lot of different options. And so you have quite a bit of flexibility there. The final account type is the developer account, and this is an individual org account. It would just be one login. And so when I took the training this summer, they talked a lot about, educators definitely should get their own org account, their own developer account for, just to create and try things out. And so you are encouraged to sign up for a developer account. But the different account use strategies are really a great tool to help you understand what account to use and which accounts are beneficial for different types of activities. And then finally, how do you sign up for your free K-12 account? As part of the ConnectEd project, Esri is providing a free organizational account to all K-12 schools. And so when you are on the resources page, we talk about ConnectEd, Esri, and there's the sign up for the free account. You do need to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, and then you get the request a free school account option. And when you click on that, it is a very simple online form that you can fill out. And generally within a week, you get the information of how to move on to the next steps to setting up your ArcGIS online org account for your K-12. So when you go back to the resources page that is located at bit.ly/2016 ArcGIS, you do have access to some other activities and some more information. Definitely all the resources we've shared today are available on this page. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Join us next month for next month's Tech Tuesday. Thanks.